Hello friends and welcome back to Studio. I'm Michael Smell and this is Stinky Robot, where we create a new piece of art from start to finish on the live streams every week. If you're first time here, I hope you do me a favor, smash that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We do giveaways all the time here on the channel, as well as just create some pretty awesome work. At least I like to think I do. So leave me a comment down below, let me know what you guys think. Feel free to join the chat. And everybody's welcome. Guys, thanks for showing up. We're going to jump right in today. We're going to start drawing. And again, first time here, subscribe to that channel. Hit that bell notification. We will be going live weekly. And I hope you'll just join me here. As always, grab a piece of paper and pencil and draw along with me if you like. I always encourage everybody to create your own body of work. Draw something that you love. Draw a house. Draw a tiger. Draw your mother-in-law. Draw anything you want, as long as you draw. Or just hang out with me and join the chat as we get to work here. Alright, on these we use acrylic inks. And I try to keep them roughly under 2 to 3 hours if possible. So I have a little clock here, you'll see right there. Just kind of help me keep track of my time a little bit. Alright, let's just jump right in and get going. We're just going to start basically inking it out right off the bat. Today I chose to kind of doodle up a predator and prey. Of course, just sticking with that robot theme. I got them on top of a robot head, just for fun. Kind of going to do a little bit of a kind of a forest scene, kind of forest floor kind of deal. Our bird of prey there, he's going to be a hawk. And a little mouse. You can see it here hiding around the corner. That should be a fun little piece. By doing the drawing, little sketch ahead of time, it kind of allows me to get more detail into the drawing within the 3-hour time period. So I've slowly over time been escalating on the amount of detail that I do put into work. And as always, I encourage you to drop me a line in the comments. Let me know what you think, how you feel about it. Should I be doing the whole piece from start to finish? Or keep doing what I'm doing now with having to sketch ahead of time. I do like the sketch ahead of time. It does allow me to get more work in. And as always, I do sell these on my website. So these individual pieces are up for sale on the website. If there's a particular one you like, you can always purchase it there. As most of you guys know, I do prefer to do the live streams in the evenings, but I always say hit the bell notification because sometimes we gotta go live a little early. I actually have some other plans this evening. I have prior obligations, so I decided to go live a little early today. I imagine the chat may not be as lively as typically in the evenings. Majority of you are expecting me to show up. But that's why I always say hit that bell notification, that way you know when I go live, so you don't miss any of the content. but I do respond to the chats or the comments. So if you missed the live stream and didn't get a chance to say anything on the chat line, you can always feel free to drop me a line in the comments, and I'd love to hear what you think. Okay, guy's head done. Mouse here. Simple little mouse right there. Quick and easy. Now we'll just, let's see. Go ahead and put the hawk in next. And then we'll mark in all of our foliage and rocks and such. Go. I'm half debating as well, but I'd love to know what you guys think, whether I should continue doing the inking or should I just jump in with acrylic inks and just show up with the outline already done in pen and ink. I don't get overly detailed with the pen and ink work. Quite honestly, I'd pretty much just utilizing it for outline drawing. Don't go overboard with the pen and ink and the cross hatching and all that. I'll add some a little bit here and there from time to time, but it's not my primary focus, I guess is the way to put it. You know, you're dealing with somewhat of time constraints when you're working under and trying to complete a full piece in just a few hours. So I try to just make sure that every line I put on there is crucial to the actual piece. So by eliminating the simple sketch work in the beginning allows me to develop the sketch further than I could during a live stream, because the initial sketch, I was spending like 20 to 30 minutes on the initial sketch, but you know, you can only do so much in that time frame, especially when you're doing it right off the top of the cuff, you know, top of your head. So switching it up a little bit. I'm gonna pull up my Hawk reference here. I got a Hawk rate reference source on screen for me. But anyways, yeah, when I was saying, if I got, hey, what's up, WT? Good to see you. Well, the long and short of it is, I can, instead of spending 20-30 minutes to develop a sketch, I can spend maybe 30 minutes to an hour on developing a sketch and kind of getting a little more detail. So that's something I'm going for. Did you happen to get your piece show up in the mail by the way that you won by chance? WT is one of our winners from our drawing last week. Pretty excited about that. I think I'm going to be doing a drawing. No, I'm not going to fully announce it yet. Let's call this a preliminary possible announcement. But I think we got live stream number 50 right around the corner. This is number 48. So I'm going to figure out a way to probably give away or do something with live stream number 50. Yeah, sounds good, WT. Yeah, you should be getting in the mail. I better check. If you haven't gotten it by now, I better check on it. Because I shipped that out next day after the contest. So if you haven't gotten it now, you should get it real soon. At least I hope so. But yeah, let me know if you don't receive that, because that's kind of a big deal if it doesn't show up. But yeah, we'll be doing another giveaway real soon. So now's your chance. Go ahead and get subscribed to the channel so that you could be our next winner, hopefully. And I said number 50 is right around the corner. It depends if I do 1 or 2 live streams, so it could be next week potentially, or the week after. Just depending if I end up going live 1 or 2 days. I have started some other side projects on the side that so I'll be filming those as well. So there'll be some standalone videos coming out real soon. Actually haven't got any one of those out in a while. I'm gonna start trying to concentrate the channel a little bit on getting some standalone content. So I've got some things in the works along those lines. So stay tuned, get subscribed for those. And those will be launching on the website real soon. So more things I'm excited about. Of course, that is the one problem I have with actually doing an artwork-based YouTube channel is it's not like I can film a video every single day. Wish I had that kind of time, but unfortunately, a lot of the work can take a lot of hours involved in it before I even go to the editing process, getting a video put together. Hopefully as time goes by, we get better here on YouTube and better on the channel. We'll find a nice system and production schedule that allows for more video content to start coming out on a regular basis. That's my ultimate end goal here on the channel. Start putting out more and more content and quality content as well. Because I do not like cutting corners when it comes to the artwork. I don't want to sacrifice quality for extra YouTube content, if that makes sense. Take a large amount of pride in my work, and I want to make sure that I can continue to put out quality work and better myself as an artist as we go along. So But that's actually probably one of my favorite things about this YouTube channel is the development from the creating a contented schedule almost, where I've got to produce, get videos out, helps suck up the laziness, helps push out more conceptual work. Some talons here. Yeah, I'll check the email here, WT, as soon as I get done with the stream today. Okay. I won't get to finish those here in a minute. All right. And get the hawk in there. All right. Kind of feel like every time I go live, I've got a neighbor doing construction. There's constantly something going on in the background. I don't know if you hear it or not, but we've got my neighbor behind me is rebuilding their deck. So if you hear power tools or weird rumbling sound, that's probably it. Hopefully the microphone's not picking it up. Hard to tell from my end if it is or not. So if you hear weird sounds, that's most likely what you're listening to. All right. You guys don't mind, but I'm just kind of working along here. There we go. Okay. Yeah, we better add some rocks and stuff in here. I have a little bit of a fallen branch right here I want to add. Well, here, there's down stick. Yeah, let's put some rocks in here. I got some random rock piles. Maybe a little bit of maybe some grass, possibly here and there. Let's see here. This. Right here. You can see I kind of had some of them kind of sketched up in here already. Some grass in right here. Gonna be fairly basic. We're just gonna kind of wash all this down here. I'm not gonna get overly detailed for sure, but we definitely want some details in here. Rocks, especially have this little robot skull or robot head here. Kind of leaned up against a little bit of a rock pile. Grass. Just about done with the doodle. Ready to move on to the actual inking process. So here. And some rocks right up here where the mouse is up. A little bit up there. I think that'll just about do us. Not sure we need much more than that. Again, we're just gonna kind of wash in a simple little foreground. Don't want to go too crazy with it. Oh, gotta finish putting these talons. These talons right here in there. All right, so look for anywhere I missed. Okay. I think that is going to do it. Branch I had drawn in the actual sketch, we wouldn't add. Yep, that's it on that. Dunsy. Let's erase. Heavy on the eraser here. I got a lot of graphite on this piece. A lot of pencil scratches we want to get rid of. Okay. I like it. Grab the few little spots I missed. Top of the head of the mouse got missed right there, but yeah, I think that's just about it. Just quick double, triple check that everything's in there like I want it, which it does appear to be. And I'm gonna say, let's go. Now I think I'm gonna start in the background with these trees at first. So we're gonna start off with a light antelope and a little bit of raw sienna. Get some raw sienna out there. I gotta throw a little bit of purple in there. My raw or my antelope. Find it. Number. Well, here we go. Give me 1 second here, guys. I know it exists. I know I have it. Question is, where did it go? Nope. 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 Here it is. It's hiding. Okay. I think I'm gonna use a little purple in the background here as well, very lightly. Kind of, now all this I want it to fade into the background, so we're going to keep it somewhat light. And here's the question, before I do the trees and stuff in the background, maybe I should put just a little bit of blue in here for atmosphere effect. Let's do that. Just a splash of color. Let's go with turquoise. We're going to make it very, very light, very, very subtle. I don't want it to be overwhelming. So we're going to start with that. Okay. We're going to do basically a wash. So I am going to go ahead and wet my background in a little bit. Will kind of help keep it where we want it. Don't want to get too crazy at all with this. Definitely not going to paint the whole area. Just want to stay nice and subtle. Okay. Now I definitely won't come down to the foreground at all. Not going to be a lot. Let's see. That's way darker than I want. Actually, some water and pull it up just a little wee bit. There we go. Subtlety is the name of the game on this. Just extremely subtle. Should almost not even tell it's there. Basically just adding a lot of water to it to keep it super light. That is. I say that, then I add way too much, make it way too dark. Yeah. Suck it right up. Right here and do the exact same thing on the other side now. Okay, laying it off itself. Little darker near the middle. Not too dark at all. Bring just the smallest amount up here behind the head. You probably can't even see it on camera. Remember, looks one way on camera and it looks another way in person, so. Ultimately, mostly about what does it look like in person. Much as I want it to show up on camera, I want it to look better on somebody's wall. There we go. I think we're just about done with this. This is all I wanted. Just a super, super subtle detail. Cool. I'm good with that. Now, somewhat the same thing here on this background tree. We have background and foreground and midground trees, so we don't want to get too carried away with them. Background trees need to be super subtle. I'm going to start off with laying in just a little bit of raw sienna, give it a little orange tone initially. Good. Keep it pretty quick and pretty loose at the same time. Right. Yeah, just rough it and make it look somewhat like bark. We're adding a little more raw sienna, slightly darkening it up some areas. Play with the lights and shadows a little bit. We're going to do the exact same thing on this tree. Now we can come in here. I love this envelope in here. Be somewhat cautious because we don't want to go overboard here in the background. We want to keep this pretty light, because it is going to be a background tree, and we're going to have the foreground here in a second in the front. Add a little purple in there in the shadows of this tree. Little purple. Alright, doing the whole light to dark thing. So just slowly building that up as we go. Keeping it nice and light. Trying to keep some idea of the texture of bark as we go. Once I get this where I like it, we'll add a little bit of the purple in there to push the shadows a bit further. And this is going to be where it's really easy to spend too much time in one area, so we want to just stay quick, loose as we go, and not to get too caught up in detail. We want some, but we don't need to go overboard. Keep in mind we are going to do this within 3 hours. You don't necessarily want to go hyper detailed. Adding that purple in there. Mix it with a little bit of the antelope so we get. Okay. Pretty good right there. When I go in and add some highlights, I'll probably add a little bit of white up in this, just to lighten some areas of it up a little bit. Okay, pretty happy with the first phase. I need a little bit of that purple now brought into this side. Perfect. Now, at some point I may come in here and push these highlights and shadows a bit more, but let's go ahead and build up the body of the work first, and let's see how the piece develops. We're basically working full on mid-tones, and then we'll work our way forward, and then you'll see that on some of the stuff I push back, I may not add as much shadow, or I may leave it out completely and just do highlights and shadows more of the extreme level on midground and foreground stuff. That allows to push that background back a bit further. But we shall see as we progress what we need and how we're going to use it. Hey, let's move in next. I think we're going to go ahead and do the robot head next. It's kind of the midground area. So we're going to switch up from the turquoise we did in the background and do the process cyan. If you've seen me do robots before, you know exactly what I'm about to do. Oh my goodness. What did I? Okay, that was just a chunk. Thought I had dropped some ink right there. I was about to lose my mind. But no, just a little flake of something or another. I have still noticed that as I had COVID a few weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago now, that whenever I talked a lot, I still end up getting a gunky throat and my voice starts to go out of me. So if I'm not talking a whole lot during today's live stream, that's why. Just my voice starts cracking and getting rough if I do too much talking. It's a gift that keeps on giving, I guess. Eventually I think it'll fade. Too worried about it being permanent, but just got some slight residual. Okay. More blue that I meant to add in the background. We'll have the shadow side on this side. Just a little bit. Start pushing this blue anywhere I think the shadows should be falling. Be quite a bit of up here on these talons. These all initially outlined in. That will be all white. Behind each one of these rivets. Around these rocks, around this groundwork and around this grass. There's going to be quite a bit of this in here because we're going to be, I mean, it's a head in the ground. Imagine it's going to be dirty and filthy and aged, so we're definitely going to age this head a bit. Getting to that point in a minute. A little bit on the older side of things. Of course, now we're also going to want to add shadow work in here. Okay, that looks pretty good. Just push the blue just a little bit on just a few areas. Not a lot, just a few. There's a few spots I need to push just a bit. Cool. That works for me. Let's go in here and next on our sked, we're gonna be adding the gray, of course. Add the gray, then we go in with the indigo, and so on and so forth, like you guys have seen me do at this point, I don't know, 48 times. If you've been with me since day one anyway, it's like WT has. Need a little bit of a shadow detail right there around that mouse's hand. I kind of forgot that. We'll add that in 2 seconds. Get that in there. We're just lightly washing this gray in. I'm going to start turning this into a metal head, aka a robot. Gonna make this one just a little bit on the darker side. Like I said, it's been sitting in the dirt, it's been sitting in the ground. It's gonna be dirty and filthy and just gonna need a little bit more character. Ground head, or a head on the ground, or whatever we want to call this. A decapitated bot, or maybe the whole robot's under there. I don't know. There's a story in there somewhere. Just gonna be a little bit more loose and rough with this. Okay, call that pretty good. A little bit of that blue, just where I more shadow detail right in here. Now look at the indigo. Thank you, WT. Appreciate it. Go. Okay, so details are key in this phase. So we gotta take our time and we gotta balance that quickness with the details. So we don't want to be overly detailed and take our time too much, but we still want to take just enough time that we're not sacrificing those details. And so there's a happy medium in here somewhere. We're going to see if we can find the balance. We're sitting right about an hour at this point. That's not too bad. We're not quite the halfway point, but we're getting there. And these shadows. It about right. Ooh. How's that looking? I think it looks pretty darn good. A few more spots. We can go on to the next phase of doing the robot skull or head, or the robot portion of it. The decapitated robot. Okay. I want to separate this from the tree color a little bit. Add actually flesh tone because I want it to be slightly different than the raw sienna. You know, on camera it may not look any different. Will in person. And just a little bit in here because I want this kind of look like crazy subtle, kind of like an aged white sticker. Okay. we go. Now that Payne's gray, always the shadow side of things. And then when I'll come in here with white and we'll bring in the highlights. Kind of looking at in this tree in the background, I may end up pushing a little bit more purple when we get to a certain point, just to push those shadows a little further, but we will see. They yet to be determined. And we're contemplating at this point. And this is part I don't want to do all the things I did indigo with this. We're just going to be just using it to really push in the darks. Subtlety is key. Center the eyes. We're not going to use any black on this piece today. Okay. Or will I do black today? I don't think so. We'll leave that as a yet to be determined. There's a chance I may come out with some black. Go to Payne's, make sure it's really nice and deep and dark. Now we're going to bring in a little bit of the white, and then we're going to add some rust detail, and then we can move on to the next part of the painting. The drawing, the sketch, the doodle, the wazoo, whatever you want to call this piece. Never can fully decide when it comes to acrylic inks if they're drawings or paintings. Technically I'm using a brush, that makes it a painting. But still consider it more of a drawing with the inks. I don't know. Feel free to drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. Drawing? Is it a painting? Lean towards drawing. I'm just drawing with a brush. Just gonna use the white to blend some of this blue and gray together, make it kind of more seamless. We're gonna come in here and we're gonna age and antique it a little bit. That's part is coming next. Some of these areas I just want to do some blending. Not a lot. Just a few spots subtly. I was thinking about inking this part of it in, but I'm going to go ahead and paint it. See how that turns out. We'll antique that as well in a minute. Let that dry. Here. Start the antique processes with gray. We're going to just kind of like blend in some real gray in the areas we really want it to be rusted out. Start the rust detail right there. Alright, now I want to grab my little burnt umber. And while we add some rust, let's add some selfless promotion. Because my live stream is brought to you by StinkyRobotArt.com, my personal website where you can explore and see more of my work, see what kind of stuff I create, as well as if you want to help support the channel, you want to help support me and my creations. I sell prints and these live stream arts right there on the website. If you'd like to pick up a piece of my work and put it on your wall, that would be fantastic. That's the best way to support me and the channel, is to swing by the website, say hi. You can always drop me a comment, drop me an email, let me know what you think of my work, and pick up some art while you're there. Of course, other than that, it helps me grow my channel here on YouTube by subscribing to the channel and hitting that bell notification. Hit that, leave me a comment, all that jazz goes a long ways in the YouTube algorithm, and will help me progress the channel. I say thank you ahead of time, and you too could be a collector of my work. That would be fantastic. I'm not the best at the whole self-promoting thing, but we're working on it. Now, that's looking pretty awesome. His head is, I really like the way that's turning out. I think I'm gonna come back in here. One little area I feel like I missed. So there should be a slight shadow off his head right there. Just a slight shadow. So we're gonna add a little bit more right in there. There we go. Pretty decent. All right. Okay, we're gonna H. Form a numeral just a little bit. So, and we probably want to bring just a little bit of this brown, a little bit of this. Put this down a little bit. There we go. Good enough. Alright, we got a little mouse needs painted next. Okay. We're going to start off with a little bit of gray for his shadows. white, blend this in. Tiny little. There's a tiny little bit of brown. And he's gonna need a pink nose. Let's got some scarlet. Mix it with a little bit of raw sienna, a little bit of white. White, little bit. And that should give us our nice peach color for the inside of the ears. And for the nose. Bring in some white on top of it. Thin it all down for the highlights. Cool. Sharp little brush. We're gonna put a little bit of brown spots for the whiskers. And when it's all said and done here in just a second, we'll actually put a few little whiskers on him. Do that near the end. Cool. Cool, now we got a mouse. Looks like next we'll be doing the hawk. Let me get my reference pulled back up again. Let's see. Well, the live stream may not be setting the world on fire, but I tell you what, I'm liking the way the drawing's coming out. So, if you're watching this after the fact, do me a favor, smash the like button. If you're, you can always drop me a comment, let me know what you think of the piece. Offer me any suggestions, ideas, kind of animals you'd like to see me draw next. Although I call myself Stinky Robot, I don't always draw robots. We draw a lot of animals on the channel, and we mix things up with some technology-based stuff, so I don't think that we're always going to do robots. We do mix it up here on the channel. Right now, we're going to do a hawk, so let's dive right into this. Let's start out, I think, with the antelope, then move into some raw sienna, and we're also going to need some red earth in here just a little bit. Alright, earth. Just gonna put all my colors out here so we can kind of mix as we go. This is the antelope. Followed by the umber. we're definitely gonna use some raw sienna out there. Okay. Since I do love working from lightest to darkest, we're gonna start with the antelope. Could start with the raw sienna as well, but I think we're gonna start with the antelope here. Keep this nice and watered down. That was the one thing I didn't want to paint dark, but that's okay. And we're going to leave some white areas out there. Okay. Okay, I'm just kind of working in the zone right now. I'm just kind of in it right now, so I'm not talking a lot. But I start playing on trying to make sure these textures feel more like the feathers we're trying to emulate. Okay. I got some feathers going off this direction. And just a little bit of raw sienna here and start kind of working out. Some of our shadow details. Some. That was some white. A bit of brown. A little more white. Okay. Raw, a little gray, I think. So that little gray, a little raw sienna. Water it down. Yeah, that was good. That's a decent palette color. Alright, that's looking pretty decent. Again, light to dark, so it's going to look a bit muddy for a little while till we start pulling the details back out of it. But while we're at this phase, I'm going to add just a tiny bit of this red. Sit with the raw sienna. Be a touch of the dark brown. Don't want it too red by any means, but it needs to be just a bit on the red side. Key within the hawk is keeping everything very neutral while simultaneously getting splashes of color. Seems pretty easy. But it's easier said than done. I'm gonna start going in here and darkening some things up. Darker brown now. just kind of building it up like a layer of cake, light to dark. Keep adding layers so we get the result we want. You want to be a bit cautious when going dark, because you add too much at once, you lose all the detail you built up. Especially when you look at the reference like I am. Unfortunately, I can't show you the reference. At least the way I've got the live stream set up right now. You'll have to work on that in the future. But the reference I have right now, everything looks real dark. And if I just went ahead and did that, I would lose all this detail work I put in here. And it'll start looking like just a big jumble like bird. It won't. All the details will have been lost. So very cautious at this point. I'm going to darken it up just enough that it shows detail. Keep it just light enough so you don't lose said detail. Again, it probably makes absolutely no sense. And I'm probably doing a piss poor job of explaining it, but that's what I'm attempting to do. You can make heads or tails of that. Fantastic. There we go. We'll come in here and darken it up even more in just a moment. Right now we're just working in browns. We haven't even put in the highlights or shadows yet. That's coming next. Oh, I'm going to go just a tiny bit of this gray in here. Straight gray. Just want to kind of mute some of this white green color a little bit. Blend it in there. Fairly watered down. I don't want it to be a super dark gray. But I want to just mute down the, I don't know, the warmth and stuff of the browns we have in there. This cool gray will actually do a great job of just toning this down a little bit. So that with white now. All right, I'm gonna come in there. I have my Payne's gray in there, but we're gonna go in with a lot more detail-oriented mind right now. So, Payne's. Before I go too much further, I think I'm gonna add a little more gray and a little more white before I add Payne's in there. Just feel like we add on. Just want to lighten it up a little bit. We're on some muddy areas. This is not the highlight. Get to that soon, very, very soon actually. Don't want this. You want some gray tones in here. I'm gonna wash them in right now. And this is probably one of those details that probably won't show up on camera very well, but in real life, it's very nice. Okay. Now, you gotta darken it up with some Payne's Gray. Using the subtleness to darken it up, make it look more bold. This is the highlights and shadows layer, so this should make it look, should really pop. If I do it right, we should really get a good pop after this layer's done. Go. Right. A little bit of shadow right here, very subtly from the tree. Don't want to get carried away at all. It is super subtle. Brown, because I make that shadow a little more brown. Box, I don't want it blue. A little bit of blue tint there from it. That and subtle, and let's bring some highlights in there now, and then we got to work on the beak and the eyes and all yada yada yada. And her feathers. And don't overdo this portion of it. Definitely needs to be there, but we want to be super subtle with it. So. Now we're bringing in the white details. Okay, I think that's gonna just about do us, guys. We've got our bird in there. Now we gotta go and add talons, beaks, and eyes. Start off here with a darker yellow. So we'll go with Indian. Indian yellow. Stick that pretty much everywhere. Eyes, beak, and the talons. Let's see, how are we doing on time here? Let me switch over here. Okay, 1:45. It's not so bad. Once you do the front foliage, shouldn't take as long to get done, I'm assuming. The hardest parts are just about behind us. The rest of it will just be detail that helps pull the entire piece together. Okay, so we probably want to add just a tiny bit of orange in here. You know what? I've already got the scarlet out. Let's go ahead and just see a touch of scarlet. Yellow, just to darken that up a little bit. That's the color. That's a good color. Going down with just a little bit of gray, like so, and a tiny bit of brown into it for the shadow colors. beak. Rainbow Payne's gray in here. Some of that off. Add a little more yellow over top. Work a few little areas right here that need a little more help. Darken some of these areas in the face up. Good character. Yep. Bring in some white highlights. Actually, before I do that, let's finish up with the Payne's gray. Got the talons here that you're gonna need to be darkened in. Highlight on each talon. Gray highlight. Now we're going to add a white highlight. And while I'm working it, I see we definitely need to push these shadows more under the feet. Okay. Right. Okay. And the white highlights on. Okay. Okay. Got our bird, we got our mouse. Now, like I said earlier, we're getting the purple because I knew we were going to get very brown in this entire piece. So before we go doing this front section, I do want to bring a little more violet back, purple in this background. The reason being, just like I said earlier, I don't want this to be, it's going to be a very brown heavy piece for sure. I want to tone that down a little bit. I don't want to go crazy because I don't want to overdo it with the purple for sure. But I want just a bit of color separation in this background. Let's, yeah, that looks pretty good. Just helps bring it to life with the color palette. Go. There we go. Moving forward. Got our little mouse, got our big bird. Bring in, get rid of some of my colors here. I got a little lot going on. Sepia tone might be a good way to start. Just gonna reuse this to kind of first put on our shadows a little bit. Lightly with the sepia tone, then we're gonna add a little green for the grasses. Then we'll start going in and adding the colors. Just kind of, just gonna use this sepia tone, the initial brown color and shadows. This is just building up our textures. I need to work as quick as I can. All right. Just building up our shadows, guys. Building up our shadows. I think we just got where I want this part of it. Just want it to kind of all blend in. That's kind of the whole premise. I'm gonna do a quick gestural foreground, midground, all that jazz. Let's go ahead and add some shadows in this tree. Tree's gonna be pretty shadowed initially. We're going to be very dramatic with our highlights and shadows on the foreground trees, or shrubbery, or bushes, or grasses, and rocks, and all that Yahoo jazz. It's all hanging out in the foreground. Gotta be a little bit more sharp. And then the ground cover is going to be somewhat gestural. Just kind of building it up as we go. This is definitely a more developed drawing. And everything I'm doing so far is all in the sepia tone. Every last bit of it. Building up a small base that we're going to work off of. Alright, so first let's add, oh, no, one little section I missed. One tiny little section. Okay. So, step one, we can go with the grasses. Step two, we're going to go into the rocks. And step three, rework that tree, then sign this sucker and call her good. So the grasses, we're gonna go with a darker green. I think I've got olive or something here. They're all really bright. Probably emerald. Go. I'm gonna go with an olive, and I'm actually gonna bring in a little blue. Well, deep marine blue. Again, just to add a little bit of color to the piece so it's not so brown. All right. Blogging going on here. Add my green. With our dark olive green. Some areas to improve on purpose. Now we're going to add a little of that blue. Now, I think I gotta brighten some of that green up. So let's go in with that emerald right on top, a few spaces. Very little emerald, just a tiny little bit. Just done for a little splash of color. I'll probably use that blue one more time here in a second, but we're gonna go in with some nice gray and start washing these rocks in. We're just making sure we're leaving a little highlight on each one of these rocks. Keep the bright white highlights up there. Okay, looks good. Again, we want to stay nice and loose in this part of it because the looser the better. We're going to want a very organic feel. But now we got to put some shadows in there, so we better go right on into that Payne's Gray. All right, guys, I apologize. I got My wife's calling real quick. Oh, she hung up and I don't know where my phone's at. Oh, she called. Okay. And we're just kind of roughing this in right now. This does not need to be perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Just adding some basic shadow work in here. For what we built up already. And I'm completely on the fence whether or not I will add more blue. And we're just gonna kind of see by the time I get there, if I add more or not. I'm thinking I may not need it. Kind of coming together now. Coming together real nice. Oh, sounds like my daughter picked up the phone, so that's good. So somebody answered my wife's call. Awesome. Hopefully the camera's picking it up as well as I'm seeing it in person because it looks pretty sweet. Everybody, if you've watched the video to this point, I mean, if you haven't hit that like button yet, smash that for me. I greatly appreciate it. You may add a little more white up in the face of the hawk. I think perhaps a little more shadow in that detail, that tree as well. We will see. If I do, it's gonna be subtle. Like yeah, right now we're gonna do it. There, that looks better. Still maintaining that purple, but adding a little bit of brown. Just darkening it a bit. Sometimes you look at a piece and you realize it just needs a little more added to it, just a little more elements. Like so. That just took it to the next level. We'll do the same thing here a little bit. Okay. Got one final thing to do. That is this foreground tree right here. A real dramatic highlights and shadows. Oh. Working that. Now, put this branch on the ground a bit better. pretty sharp. Now we're gonna come in here and add some final white highlights to the whole piece. On that sucker good. Get some stark white out there. Push these highlights a bit. And make a dramatic contrast between this foreground tree and the background. More white. We're at 2 hours and 21 minutes. That's not too bad. Doing pretty decent. We're gonna be done here in literally just a second. We're on the final stretch, so. Timing's not too bad on this piece. And a little more highlights on this tree right here on the right, the left. And now look at this front twiggy. Good. I think I want to push the shadow just a little bit further underneath that twig. Right now we're adding the final touches. We're just going through, we're going to start cleaning things up, seeing what we need to change, and making those quick changes. Because this piece is practically finished. Alright, need to get a little highlight here on the mouse. Like it. We're gonna sign it. Feel it, reveal it. I think we are done, guys. Let's move this stuff off of here. Not bad for 2.5 hours. This one's a real detailed piece. Thank you, WT. I appreciate you showing up. You're about the only one who was in the chat today. Hopefully a few more join the live stream, but if not, you guys can always leave me a comment down below if you're watching it after it later. I know I went live early today. Most folks are knowing I'm going live typically in the evening, but today we're a little earlier in the night tonight. Like I said, I have some obligations I gotta take care of this evening, so make sure you hit that bell notification so when I do change up my going live time, you get notified so you can still join us here on the channel. And do make sure you subscribe. That would okay, signed. And of course, if you enjoyed today's video, whether it was live or you're watching it later, please hit that like button. I will greatly appreciate that. There we go. Let's do the peel. Maybe. There we go. Yeah, this is something different than what we've been doing lately. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do. You see now how there's little subtle blue in the background. I was so subtle with it. I think that makes a big difference. If I had gone really dark blue in the background, it really would just kind of blob the whole piece. Now it just really feathers out. And I like that look a lot. I prefer doing these type of landscapes rather than doing like an entire edge-to-edge landscape. I don't know, I just prefer these. And of course, it's also because my grandfather did a lot of this stuff when he was alive, and a lot of his work that I've just grown up with. So to me, this just feels more natural than doing a full landscape. But he did a lot of full landscapes too. In fact, he probably did more full landscapes. But I was always gravitating to these more. And there we go. Got ourselves a little mouse. heading around the corner here from a hawk. Of course, got the big robot head. A mat. See what it looks like all put together. Its final form. There we go. And I think that looks awesome. So leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if this is one of the pieces you like or prefer me doing more of these landscape pieces. You like the portrait pieces more? Or I love to hear your comments. By all means, send one out to me. Well, that's going to be it for me today, guys. I'm going to go ahead and cut it short. WT, thanks a lot for showing up, bud. You're always in my chat. I can always count on you. You're fantastic. Greatly appreciate that. To anyone who watches the video later, thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate everybody. With that, we'll see you next time. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.